everyone, Xeno here, and you might be wondering, where have I been past month? But now you might also be wondering, why the heck am I out on a hill in the middle of nowhere? Well, it's actually because of the hill's name. That's right, I've decided I'm dying on this hill.
That's right, Breath of the Wild 2 at the 2021 Game Awards. Prepare yourselves because I've got a feeling it's time. Yeah, I know I had a feeling the past 2 years as well, but you know, this time, it's different. For one, we actually saw the game just 6 months ago. It now actually has a real release window. And finally, for a direct sequel, it's been so dang long in the making. I know many people are thinking, oh, they can still delay it because it's a Zelda game and they always get delayed. But have you seen how long it has been since Breath of the Wild? This game is going to be the longest development cycle for any Zelda game, and it's reusing an engine and world. For once, I doubt this game will be delayed any further. But yeah, there is a lot of evidence pointing to Breath of the Wild sequel gracing us at this year's TGAs. So let's dive a little deeper and look into some more focused evidence. So one piece of evidence I've seen a lot of people throw around, myself included, is this quote from Nintendo Treehouse employee Bill Trinan. So the backstory behind this is both Bill and Nate Bildor from Nintendo Treehouse had an interview with IGN back at E3 this year, 2021, and it was actually like one of the only interviews Nintendo did regarding Breath of the Wild 2 in any sense. So this is some of the most up-to-date info on Breath of the Wild 2 from the mouth of a Nintendo representative we have. What Bill said was, I think as we start to show a bit more of the game over the coming months to the next year or so, it'll probably start to be a bit more apparent where this game stands on its own and what makes it so unique. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are reading this comment wrong because I think I read it wrong at first too. What Bill is saying is that in the next coming months to the next year or so. Remember, this quote is from June 2021. From his point of view, the next year or so is until June 2022. When I first saw this quote, I thought he was saying, oh, so before the end of this year, we're gonna learn some more information. Maybe that was what he's saying, but it's kinda hard to tell because we don't know the exact context. You can kinda try to read what Bill's intentions are since this was from a video interview and you can see him as he says it, and he looks like he's kind of hesitating, like he didn't mean to say like in the next year or so, but who am I to say? I don't read people like that. I'm not that good at that, so like, take it with a grain of salt, really. The real point of this quote is Bill is saying sometime in the near future we will learn more about this game, and the Game Awards seems like the next event where that could potentially happen. A second piece of potential evidence we are going to be looking at here today is something that's been making the rounds a lot lately, which is this tweet from Game Awards creator and head honcho Jeff Keighley. Jeff being Jeff, you know, he had to just go ahead and post this tweet and stir up a whole bunch of conversation by teasing something that people are they're definitely going to put their own expectation onto and latch onto way too hard. But this is what Jeff said. Just saw the final cut of a Game Awards world premiere we have been working on with a developer for over 2.5 years. Truly honored we are entrusted to share this work with the world. So what game is Jeff talking about? Well, a lot of people seem to believe it might be Breath of the Wild 2, because it just so happens that it has been just about 2.5 years since Breath of the Wild 2 was announced at E3 2019. Now, like I said, that has driven a lot of people to believe this might be Breath of the Wild 2. It's going to be shown off at the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley's really excited about it, but there's also people that have been saying it's not Breath of the Wild 2. Because he said world premiere. Have you seen the Game Awards? They will slap a world premiere on literally anything. Not only that, but we can also directly compare the times Breath of the Wild was shown off at the Game Awards. Here they used World Premiere because it was the first time we were seeing gameplay. Here they used World Premiere just for the heck of it, and here they used World Premiere for DLC. I don't think the Game Awards definition of World Premiere is going to stop this being the one that Jeff is talking about here. All that said though, I don't know if Jeff is talking about Zelda here, and I'm not going to latch onto this tweet saying that he is. Jeff's tweet is not super great evidence in particular, but I do think it adds a little bit of fuel to the fire. But the thing is, these little pieces of evidence add up. And when you put them all together, it sure looks like an arrow pointing straight at Breath of the Wild 2 being at the 2021 Game Awards. Nintendo has to show something at the Game Awards, right? They've been a partner since basically its inception, and they can't rely on Smash anymore. They've done that the past 2 years, and we're out of DLC characters now. Also, it would honestly be a terrible marketing move to not show something at the Game Awards. This thing has a big audience, and it's been growing every year. Honestly, at this point in time, it's probably a better venue for marketing new games to consumers than E3. Finally, I come back to that history Breath of the Wild has at the Game Awards, and I feel like it's just too perfect of an opportunity to continue that with the sequel. Breath of the Wild had its first gameplay demo at the TGAs in 2014. The second trailer for Breath of the Wild and a new gameplay demo arrived in 2016. And in 2017, it won Game of the Year and launched the Champions Ballad DLC that night at the awards. It just makes too much sense in every respect. The timing, the history, the hints. Nintendo needs to keep excitement alive for this game at this point, and it feels like it's been dying down a lot lately, so this is the perfect time to boost it back up again. Also, a 2022 release date. You need to start marketing this game if you're going to actually hit that, because you're, like I said, running out of time. That's only a year away at this point. A year away at most, if they hit it. Like I said, I think they will. I want to go back for a minute to our good friend Bill Trinan and our pal Nate Bildor from Nintendo Treehouse because they brought up some more interesting details in that same IGN interview from earlier. Bill said this: "As for why we're holding back on the name, you'll just have to stay tuned because obviously Zelda names are kind of important. Those subtitles, they start to give little bits of hints about what's maybe going to happen." So another thing I've heard a lot of talk about in the Zelda community recently is if Breath of the Wild 2 does show up at the Game Awards, people think it's going to get a name. Bill gave us this bit of information earlier this year about why they haven't revealed the name yet, because it's kind of a spoiler as to what the game is about and what its gimmicks might be, which is why I'm honestly not sure if the sequel is at the Game Awards, it will actually have a name reveal with it. I'm looking at this potential appearance as more of a final tease than a big reveal, so as much as it pains me to say, they might hold off on a name one more time. You guys know me, I like to base a lot of my predictions on what has happened in the past, and while Nintendo being a bit of a loose cannon makes that a hard sell sometimes, I don't know, I actually for some reason still believe this whole marketing cycle for Breath of the Wild 2 will play out very similar to Breath of the Wild's. E3 2019 game is revealed. E3 2014 game is revealed. 2 years later, second teaser is revealed at E3 2021. 1 year later, gameplay is demoed at the TGAs. 6 months later, third teaser and gameplay demo is revealed at TGAs. 1.5 years later, game is fully revealed at E3 2016 with extensive gameplay demos. 6 months later, game is fully revealed at E3 2022 with extensive gameplay demos. 6 months later, final tease at 2016 Game Awards. 5 months later, the game releases. 3 months later, the game releases. That's how I currently see this playing out. And isn't it strange just how similar this marketing cycle could be to Breath of the Wild's? What I really think we're going to see from Breath of the Wild 2 if it appears at the Game Awards is our first real look at gameplay. Granted, I still expect this look to be very teasery, holding a lot of the game's mechanics and secrets close to its chest. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more I believe this showing at the Game Awards will be all about Princess Zelda's role in this game. Every time I look back at Breath of the Wild 2's second trailer, I convince myself more that the scene of Zelda falling was put in as an intentional red herring, to have us expect the usual outcome. Zelda falls and is relegated to the sidelines for the game. Dead, trapped, whatever, she is literally out of the picture. But this just doesn't sit right with me. Everything we've learned about the development of Breath of the Wild, how in the early days players latched onto the idea of a female protagonist, how Aonuma went out of his way and commented on that, the initial announcement of the Wii U Zelda project in 2013, where multiplayer was one of the key things they wanted to focus on. All of this leads me to believe that Zelda must have a bigger role to play in this game. And finally, it brings me back to this idea of every teaser having a focus so far. First Ganon, then Link, then Zelda. I think the Game Awards this year might give us that third teaser, and our first look at gameplay as Zelda in a much more linear and easy to demo underground area. I can't believe it took me this long to realize, but it's the perfect way to introduce more traditional Zelda elements back in while not infringing on Breath of the Wild's freedom. Make the underground a more linear story and traditional dungeon-focused part of the game. Then you get the best of both worlds, the freedom of Breath of the Wild above and the structure of the old Zelda dungeons below. And now that I've realized it, that just makes all too much sense to me. But knowing Nintendo, they're bound to do the exact opposite in the most out of left field thing imaginable. Hello?
attenzione un po' al fratello.
Gameplay demo reveal?
Eccolo tutto, sembra ete.
Just go ahead and demo the final boss. But really, who's to say? Who's to say Zelda will even be at the Game Awards this year? We're just talking in hypotheticals here. I know we talk about expectations a lot here and hyping responsibly and all that. My last video on Breath of the Wild 2 was literally all about that stuff. But I'm just saying it right here, just so everybody knows. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to just be hyped. Are you setting yourself up for disappointment? Maybe, but the thing is, the joy you feel in the moment of just being excited about something. And that's something that I kind of miss, because we don't do that as much anymore. I'm always trying to be, keep expectations and everything, but every once in a while, you just gotta let it go. You gotta just get hyped about something. And that's what I am right now about the Game Awards. Will we crash and burn? Likely. But, hey, what if we don't? As long as you're ready to accept reality and be reasonable about it in the end, I see no harm in it. So, I'll be seeing you guys on the Twitch channel Thursday night to see where this hype leads us. Hey, so wait, before you go clicking off the video thinking this is just the regular boring outro part of the video, first of all, shame on you, my outros aren't boring. The only reason you think that is because you never try them. And second, I have a few super important channel updates I would like you all to hear before you tune out today. So you might have noticed that last month marked the first time in a long while where I went a full month without any uploads. This is due to a multitude of factors, including but not limited to some mental health issues, doing some soul searching, and in big part, a burnout on making YouTube content that has been festering since the end of last year. Suffice to say, I've been having a pretty hard time with things lately, but through it all, I believe one thing has persisted, and that's that I want to keep making stuff for you guys. I can't lie, the past year of views on the channel have not been what I was hoping for, and as someone who has been really struggling with finding validation in their life, and I'm even fully willing to admit puts way too much stake in a video's performance as a source of that validation, it's been tough. It also just so happens that 2021 was a turning point for me in my personal life. I need to make some big decisions regarding what I want to do with my future, decisions I've spent the year running from and still don't have a definitive answer to. All this to say my life is in significant need of some changes, and as running this channel is a part of my life, that means changes are coming here as well. So, number one, I'd like to start off by saying I will no longer be guaranteeing weekly videos on this channel. Instead, I'm hoping to keep myself to a minimum of one monthly upload and release videos more on a basis of when they're ready. I know schedules are nice, and I know the YouTube algorithm apparently really likes them, but I'm going to be straight with you guys and say I don't think it's worth the stress anymore. Well, both that and... So, number two, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can be with you guys in this update, and to do that, I have to mention YouTube ad revenue. I know as a viewer this can often be a hard topic to fully grasp since you don't have experience with what views equate to in payout, but I think a pretty general way to describe it is that pretty much everyone on YouTube is underpaid. That is the nature of a free-to-watch platform where your revenue comes from skippable ads and anyone can post anything. You might counter that by saying I'm sure many large creators make more than enough off their channels. Still, even then I counter that by saying look at other entertainers like actors and athletes and what they make in comparison to some of YouTube's biggest creators. People who have much more of an audience to entertain but much less of a paycheck. So my little rant about how little YouTube pays its creators aside, I have to be honest and say the number of work hours put into maintaining a weekly upload schedule for the channel, combined with the already small but continuously shrinking payout from YouTube, is at this point in time just not sustainable. That's the second reason why I've decided to break from a weekly upload schedule and have been considering the prospect of even launching a Patreon, where you guys could, if you so choose, directly support the channel financially to show your support. So let me know in the comments if that's something any of you might be interested in. But anyway, that brings us to the last topic. I started this channel back in August of 2016, and I started it with a passion. Making videos wasn't work or a chore, it was something I genuinely enjoyed and looked forward to doing. It's been clear to me for a while now that that attitude has faded. I just wasn't really ready to admit it, but now I have. And my next goal is to do whatever it takes to return to that initial outlook on my content, for my sake and for the channel's sake. I say it all the time, but I absolutely mean it when I say thank you guys for just watching my videos and being a viewer here. It's something you really truly don't understand until you're on the creating side of this, but it's just so easy to forget who you're actually making these videos for, and that actual people are watching and maybe even enjoying them. So thank you guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for hearing out my updates here today and just pouring out my thoughts. That's where we're at with the channel. I'm excited to continue on with these changes and hopefully find a more healthy balance for making videos. I appreciate you guys so much for understanding, for being here with me today, and yeah, I have little doubt if you made it this far, you're probably already subscribed, but if you're not, you can subscribe, I guess. That would help me out a lot, and I would appreciate it. Like the video, socials, and the links in the description below. I don't want to drag it out too much longer. Again, Game Awards stream on Thursday. Super excited to see what we see there. We'll see. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon with more new videos. Till then, guys. Bye-bye.